she'll make it 23, 24, 25, right? There's no intention to maintain purity in that dynamic, which is why when she's unhappy, she'll just find the next guy because she knows it's easy.
I think I learned the term pair bonding from watching your videos. Is this a thing? Is this a real thing where certain amount of, after a certain amount of men, a woman lacks the ability now to pair bond, which is
pair bond in a healthy and happy way, right? Again, well, if you've been with a woman we'll just use 50, we'll use something random like that. If you've been with a woman that's been with 50 guys, the chances of her having abortions, the chances of her having a lot of baggage along the way is there. It exists, versus a woman that might have spent her entire 20s with one guy, and maybe he was a total POS and she had to end it, and now she's with you. Or she's a virgin bride, for example, let's say. She just got a lot of baggage. So the example that I use is, if I were to take a Sharpie marker and grab a clay brick and write on it, "He hurt me," put that in the burlap bag. "He threw me down the stairs," put that in the burlap bag. "He abandoned me when I got pregnant," put that in the burlap bag. "I had to have an abortion," put that. It's like a big burlap bag full of bricks, and she carries around, and it's invisible and nobody sees it except for her. She knows that it's there, it exists, and she doesn't tend to reconcile all of those bad choices in her life. And she carries this around. And now she carries this heavy bag of bricks around into your life as you invite her into it, and you're dealing with the trauma and past issues that she's had. So it's not just the disgust of her laying with many men. It's not just potential for an STD, all of those things. There's a lot of compounding issues there. And look, if you're dating and you're spinning plates, whatever it is that you happen to be doing to sort of figure out women, that's fine. But if you discover that she's been promiscuous, I would not invite her into my life. It's just a bad choice.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. My question though is, no one's walking around with a scarlet letter. How do you know? Are there any subtle signs or symptoms of a woman who has a high notch count?
If you ask her directly, people argue that you should just double or triple whatever number she gives you. Right. Okay. Is an easy way to do it, because women will tend to they'll recall longer term relationships. They'll recall the 3-month guy that she dated, the 7-month guy, the 3-year relationship. She'll recall all of that. What she doesn't tend to recall is, well, what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happened at the foam cannon party in Ibiza stays there. The threesome encounters, the lesbian encounters, the guy that she gave a blowjob to at the back of the nightclub. She doesn't recall those numbers. So that's why they say, well, you can double or triple whatever number she gives you. So if it starts looking like promiscuity, like if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably duck. A lot of the red flags over here, by the way, sort of are indicators of promiscuity. She's had daddy issues. She's a feminist. Like, for you to be a feminist, you have to think that men and women are identical. And one of the beliefs that women have is, well, if men can be promiscuous, then women can be promiscuous now, because we have birth control, we can do whatever we want, right? So a feminist woman is typically quite promiscuous, whereas a more conservative woman isn't. So a lot of those on the list of the red flags are good identifiers. But a simple way to be, at some point down the line when you're dating, curious, how many guys have you been with? And then just shut up and let her talk. And let her say whatever she wants. She might downplay it. She might not answer the question directly. A more difficult way to assess it would be to just watch her lifestyle behavior. So you meet a woman, she's 33. Hey, what'd you do with your 20s? Well, I backpacked around Europe. I worked on cruise ships. I worked at a nightclub, did some promotion work. I was working in Ibiza for 3 years. You can rest assured that she's been with a lot of dudes. If you take a look at her Instagram and she doesn't have a lot of money, but you see a lot of photographs on yachts, private jets, boats, supercars, well, guess who's paying for all that, right? In exchange for the photograph, for that opportunity to be in that photograph, there's a guy that typically pays for that. And it's not always the same guy usually.
Okay. Those are helpful.